Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's first live. I am going to be joined by Ryan, and his platform is Masculinity for Men. And we are going to have an interesting conversation all about hypergamy. And this conversation is predominantly for men, but you know what? If you're a lady and you're listening in, hey, you might learn something too. But we're mainly talking to men today because Ryan's page is for the guys, and he is teaching you all the skills and the tools that you need to be a confident, leveled up, amazing man, and to not give in to what's going on right now in the culture. What is happening in the culture right now is men are not fully understanding female nature. They're not fully understanding how women work, and they are getting very frustrated. They're feeling very frustrated. So I'm going to have this great conversation with Ryan, and we're going to talk a little bit about hypergamy. Okay, so I'm going to bring him on. Oh, I missed. There we go. All right. Please ask your questions to him or to me. Okay. And I should have put myself on.
Hi, how are you doing?
Hi, Ryan. I'm doing great. It's great to virtually meet you finally. And I've been following your page and following your content, sharing your content, because a lot of it is right on point. I have a lot of male followers on my platform, and so you're one of the platforms that I oftentimes say, hey, you need to go over here and follow this guy and learn from him. So yes, so it's a pleasure to meet you finally virtually. So we're going to have about a 20-minute conversation all about hypergamy. We're going to hear your thoughts about it. You're going to tell us a little bit about your platform, kind of how you came to do this, why you decided to do this. That would be interesting to know. And then you'll tell us if there's anything you want to promote or share with my platform. Of course, we want all of the gentlemen to head over to Masculinity for Men and please follow. If you're a lady, I'm sure you're welcome there as well. So head over there and follow, okay? So Ryan, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you started this platform.
I started it because I was originally not very good with girls, and, you know, I was, you know, bullied and all that kind of stuff. And so the gym was the first thing I ever did. And I swear that, like, kind of saved my life. And, like, I mean that in a exaggerated sense, but also not so exaggerated. So I that was the first thing I ever did for myself. And my football coach at the time was like, so you're just going to work out? And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to work out. Cause like, I always wanted to be the jock, like that you saw in the movies, dating the cheerleader, blah, blah, blah. So then I came to Florida State, and I actually ended up dating a dancer, and the relationship was so flawless, and like, it was so easy and so perfect. And it was because I had started like looking into masculinity and stuff like that. And I could see all those, I had been introduced to the red pill and stuff like that. And I was like, there's some truth to it, but it's far from the whole truth. So it's like, I don't want guys to take that as the absolute truth and then miss out on something good because they're missing the whole other half of the equation. So dating, you know, a Florida State dancer, you know, very beautiful, obviously a lot of options and stuff like that. And me just being a student, I'm not in a frat, I didn't play a sport, I wasn't just whatever. She just liked me for me. And then I started commenting on other accounts, you know, posts and stuff like that, helping other guys. And I was like, why not just do this for myself? And then I looked into, you know, social media growth and stuff like that. And I was like, I could do this like legitimately and actually help a lot of guys out. So that's what I wanted to do, because I think a lot of men are misled today. And I think a lot of men have so much more potential than they even imagine if they just put in a little bit of work. And it's like, you're not like where you are right now, like you're not guaranteed a mate or a lover or whatever. Like that's not your right. So you have to go out and earn that.
Right.
And I think a lot of guys today have been sold on like the Disney fairy tales, like, oh, like you're just gonna fall in love and like she'll love you for you, but like you have to put in that work. You have to be worth like loving, worth commitment, you know. So that's kind of my story, and my
Right.
life's only gotten better. It's like some people look at me and they're like, oh, you work out and you write all the time and you work like 80 hours a week, and it's like, is that fun? I'm like, yeah, it is fun. Like I absolutely love it. So that's kind of my story.
Okay. So it sounds like you've checked off a couple of masculine boxes, and this is what I'm always telling men. You've checked off the box that says, I have a passion or a purpose. You've checked off a box that says, I'm going to work on myself. It's all about self-development. I'm going to work out. I'm going to be accountable and responsible for myself. So see, that right there makes men attractive, that you're checking off these masculine boxes of what masculine men do.
And another,
so
I have a
love
whole
it.
big stack of books next to me, and like I tell some people, like they're like, oh, what do you like to do? And I'm like, I like to read. And they're like, you like to, like what? And it's like,
Good.
I think everyone has something they like to read. They just have to find it. And it usually, for at least men, I find a lot of men, they don't really like fiction. I don't really care for fiction either. But if you can find some nonfiction books that are not just the general like self-help stuff, like I think a lot of men would actually very much enjoy reading, or even using like Audible or something like that. So leveling up your mind, leveling up your body, leveling up your spirit. I think having a deeper purpose, whether that be God or nature or the universe, like I'm not here to tell you what you should believe in, but definitely believe in like a higher power.
Right. For sure. I think that in and of itself is humbling. You know, I think I love men that are very masculine and very confident, but also very humble. So I think that's what that is all about. That's why I tell a lot of men, yes, there's something bigger and better and higher than you, and you need that to humble yourself, to ground yourself. Yeah. So that's super important. But I love what you said about reading. There's something about being an educated jock that I think is very comprehensive. Like you're covering a lot of bases when you're doing that. So you're not just working out and you're not just reading.
A lot of people, like, cause I'm still like around the Florida State like campus and stuff. And like, if I meet people, like a lot of people will assume that I'm like a frat guy or something like that. And I'm actually like the furthest thing from it. So it's always interesting when you can shock people. So when you're like super smart, but then you take off the lab coat and you're like buff, or if you look like a jock and then you're actually super smart, it's like, yeah, I love that.
Good. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about hypergamy. And what I find so interesting about this subject is it is kind of an evolutionary process. So this has been with us for thousands and thousands of years. And I like educating people about this as well, just letting them know that these are the things that are innately in us as men and women. It's not something that we're even consciously choosing. Like when a woman is looking for a man, she is subconsciously looking for strength. She's looking for protection and provision. That this is just deeply wired in us. And so you and I were talking, and you were saying, you know, sometimes men feel a way about this whole hypergamy thing. And they let that, like, that's the reason why they're not having success with women. I want you to speak a little more about that.
That's like what the red pill and like some other, like, I think newer pages on masculinity will promote. It's like, oh, she's not yours, it's just your turn. Or like, if she comes across someone that's better looking, more attractive, or more successful, more jacked, then she'll immediately start to try to get with him. And once she can, then she'll just monkey branch or she'll leave. And in my experience, that's not at all the case. And when you look at all the marriages, like there are a lot of unhappy marriages, but these women, they don't want to leave. They don't want to leave their man. Like they are loyal, and they want to inspire their man to be the best version that they can. So you see it at restaurants all the time. It's like, you know, the guy just defers to his wife, and it's like, it's become a habit. He's like totally lost all of his like masculine energy, and it's really sad, but she's still with him. So it's not like It's not, I don't think this hypergamy thing is as rampant as people think. All she wants is a man that she can look up to. So if you can be a strong man and be a leader and take accountability, like I was saying, like find something, like you have to actually go find your purpose. Your purpose doesn't come knocking on your door. You have to go find it. So take accountability for where you are in life and how you want to move forward, and be someone that can make her feel secure as well as safe, but also like a woman. So that's where, like, that's the flirting aspect, and that's what a lot of people focus on. That's the, you know, the polarity, and just you know, understanding what makes a woman tick instead of, and that's what I think a lot of guys focus on, but they totally ignore the fact that she does want security. She doesn't want a whole bunch of options. Like many women have, you know, 50 DMs or whatever in their inbox, but they don't seek variety the way that men sometimes seek variety. They want that one strong lover that they can rely on. So that's where a lot of guys go wrong. If she can look up to you and you can provide, you know, some security, she's gonna melt.
Right. That's it. And remember, we are talking about high quality feminine women, right? That makes a difference. There are now, and this is something that I recently came to because I don't come from this generation. I don't come from this era. And in my mind, you know, I see all women like myself. And men have been telling me recently, no, women are not like you. They're not like you anymore. And so I have to then say, okay, let me look out here and see what's going on. And yes, I have found that there are lower quality women. There are masculine energy women. There are wounded women. And so that's been a surprise to me over the last few years, is that, wow, women are not the way they were in my day. Things have definitely changed.
That's on the dude. That's the whole point of dating, is like, you know, you gotta learn about them and understand, like, okay, these are some red flags. These are some things that might not work. And a red flag doesn't mean you have to immediately run, but it's something to keep an eye on. So I was dating one of these girls whose father like walked out, and it was, we went on a couple dates and everything like that. She was very beautiful, very fun, and everything like that. But I almost think I was treating her too well. So like she started to like pull back because like she didn't really understand. She couldn't trust the man. So then like after that, I was just like, yeah, like I don't think this is gonna work because of this, this, and this. And she was like, yeah, like honestly, like I appreciate you telling me that, and like I think you're right, and like I'm just unsure about the future and this and that. So me like totally understanding where she was coming from and meeting her there and just kind of going our own ways. I think she really respected that, and hopefully she can find someone in the future. But like she said, like I said, she has like some daddy issues because her dad walked out, and that's extremely unfortunate. Like I don't take that out on her. Like she had a bad experience with who was supposed to be her male father figure, her strong masculine figure in her life. So I feel terrible for her, but like then again, it's not my job to save her. Just like women, it's not your job to, you know, get your man to like get off his ass and like go do something.
Right. Okay, so let's talk about some of these possible red flags, because we know that, again, it's kind of innately built into us women that we're going to seek the best option, like you said. We don't want 1,000 options. We want the best option. We want the strongest. We want a man who has resources. And I'm always telling men that's not necessarily money, but we want someone that can bring value. We want someone that we can depend on, and like you said, look up to. So the very definition of hypergamy, for anyone who does not know, is that I am going to reach up. I'm going to date or marry someone of a higher caste or higher class. And so I have joked on my platform and let everyone know I come from a long line of hypergamous women. My grandmother, my mother, and now me. So we have all met and married men who were higher earners than us, higher educated than us. Like, that's all we know. And that is it helps to build in that respect for the man that we're with. Like, we know that about ourselves. We can't be with a man who is lower than us, because that affects our respect for that man. And so, yes, that's all I know. And, you know, I make no bones about that. Like, all I know how to do is reach for
Yeah.
a man that's higher. And here's what a lot of women are saying today, and I find this fascinating. They're saying, well, Miss Anita, you know, these men out here today, like, they're not doing anything. There's not a whole lot of higher men to choose from. And I believe that's kind of what your page is doing. Your page is trying to help men to be that, to try to get better, to try to level up. What would you say to a woman who
I
is saying
think
that?
a lot of men have their priorities completely flipped. They want to find the the queen or the princess first, and then they want to start to like do all these other things. They think that that's what comes first, and like they feel incomplete. They feel I guess insecure, and like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, like psychologically at the base, like sex or love or whatever is one of those base needs. And a lot of these guys have no idea what they're doing. So they're not only are they not getting dates, but they're not getting anything more intimate than that. So it's, I think a lot of them feel extremely depressed. And I think they see a lot of this stuff on the internet of dudes with money and dudes with like big muscles and stuff that have all these like models, but they don't understand that it's all fake and it's all paid for. Like forget the one guy's name, but yeah, it's all fake. So then they become hopeless, they become kind of resentful, and then they're like, why should I even try? Like, I'm happier with my Mountain Dew and my video games, so like I'm not going to find a woman anyways. Why waste my time? So, and that's completely flawed, but that's where I think a lot of guys are coming from. And again, I think a lot of men have a entitled belief system. They're like, well, I'm a man, like, so I deserve a woman. Like, where's my girl? And I agree. Like, a lot of men are not doing the things that they should be doing. So I think the women are right in their frustration. And I think the other thing that doesn't help is the casual sex. So that's the other thing too, is like, if you, I've met plenty of women that see sex as just something that's fun to do. So I think when you reward men with sex that aren't doing anything, and maybe they have, you know, game, or they're attractive or whatever, but they're still not doing anything, then what need do they have to improve? And then there's like, so that's like the player kind of community. They don't really have any value, but they'll sleep with women. And then there's like the incel community that is just like, I give up, I don't care, like I'm just gonna be alone the rest of my life. And then there's like that small fraction of men that are like actually masculine, that have value to give, do want a woman, and can like understand how to attract a woman. And it is so true. Like that's why I think once you can just develop a little baseline of masculinity, you'll be head and shoulders above so many men, because so many men are so weak and so lost today. So I think the women are correct in their frustration, but I also think they have to understand that with just like changing a little bit of female behavior in terms of sleeping around. And again, men are slut creators. If women are slut, men are slut creators. So it's on both sides. And I think Hollywood and, you know, the media, you know, promote casual sex way too much, and it's a whole nother issue. But I totally empathize with where women are coming from. And I think that a lot of men want to be good, they just don't know how to.
Right. And here's something, okay, so this is, I'm going to put on my Auntie Anita cap. So this is one of the things that I talk to younger people about all the time. I believe that women, so we are an oracle. We provide, men are the savages, and I don't say that to be, you know, derogatory. I love that. I love that about men. They are the savages. We are the oracle. So we're providing a sense of taming, or we have the standard. Like there's a standard that a man must meet in order to interact with us, or at least this is how it was in my day, and still in my world it is. And so we're not going to accept just anything. And because of that, because we're good gatekeepers, a man is now kind of going to be tamed. He's going to tame that savage beast in him to an extent, because he's got to have teeth and he can't be afraid to use them. But he's going to tame that to an extent in order to be with us. And it's just like you said, young women today are no longer doing that. They're no longer providing that guidance. They're no longer being good gatekeepers. They're no longer saying, oh, no, I'm not going to give you free sex. You know, that's not going to happen. I'm going to require that you take me out. I'm going to require that you call me. I'm going to require that we be exclusive and committed. See, that's where I come from. I come from that era. And so my head is blown. Like when I see what's happened in the last 10 years, my head is blown off. I'm like, what? It's that easy? Like, what? Like nobody in my day did that. We all said, oh, no. You're going to have to come to my door. You're going to have to, my dad may answer, and you're going to have to take me out on a date, and we're going to have to be in a relationship. Like that.
The amount of women that have commented on how I go about setting up a date, like, okay, when are you free? And then it's like, all right, so Sunday at 10 work for you? Yes. And then it's like, okay, I'll pick you up. What's your address? And like, they don't have to, it's not like, oh, what do you want to do? Do you want to go to the movies? Do you want to go to the park? It's like, no, like, it's a surprise. I'm going to pick you up. This is the time. This is the place. Like, they don't have to think about anything. And the amount of women that have been like, I really appreciate how you did that. And what you were talking about too, I recently went on a date with a girl, and she was like, nobody goes on dates anymore. She said, there have been men that will like try to set up a date and then they'll like cancel, and then they'll just be like, oh, you can just come over to my place at like 11 p.m. And she's like, no, thank you. And then there was another guy that she went out to coffee with at like 11 a.m., whatever. And he just dumped all of his problems on her. And she was like, I don't care. Like what, why would you, how do you, in what world do you think that's going to attract me to you? So men want like therapists, men just want like a booty call. And it's like, women are disgusted by that. And like, she's a really attractive, good girl. Like she said, she's old fashioned, and she's not about what you were saying. And I was like, in my head, I was like, this is great. But I was also like, that shouldn't even be old fashioned. Like that should just be the way it is.
It really should. It really should. But here's my hope, that with platforms like you and I have, that we will get back to that. We have to get back to basics. In my opinion, that's called the basics. Like there's nothing old fashioned about it. It's called basic courtesy, basic respect for other people. And so we're coming together. We're attempting to get to know each other. We're staying out of the bedroom while we're doing that. Like, I don't even know if I like you. Like, I have to, get to know you and like you. And at some point, maybe we'll talk about being exclusive if that continues. But this idea of, bumping into people, being physically intimate with them, I mean, that's not served us well at all. And here's the thing that I tell a lot of men. I don't think it's good for the men. Like, I don't think they're really getting what they should be getting. I mean, they're getting free sex, but I don't think it's good for them either.
Like a lot of talk is about like pair bonding, like with women after, a number of sexual partners. Yeah. But I think the same can be said for men as well, because then it leads to a lot of comparing, and it almost becomes like a game of like what can I get next? Like, can I level this up? And it's almost, you're never satisfied, I guess, with whoever you're with. And she could be amazing. So I think, sleeping around doesn't serve men. And like we said, it leads to a lack of motivation, or it leads to motivation to do the wrong things, like go to bars every night and try to pick up women.
That's it. Ryan, tell us if there's something you'd like to promote, something you'd like to share that
I
people should
think
go and check out.
so. There's the link in my bio has a newsletter, which is all free content every week, really in depth. And then obviously you can follow my page, and there is a product that I created. It's over 100 pages. There's visuals. There's written instruction. There's 2 workout guides. Everything that I know about masculinity is in this book, and it's called Masculine Excellence. That will also be in the link in the bio. Feel free to check those out. And yeah, I guess just follow my page for, daily tips on how to become the man you want to be.
For sure, for sure. Okay, well, I'm going to continue to promote. I'm going to continue to share because, yes, there are things that you are sharing with men that are spot on. And like you said, it is a very balanced view. So I have studied red pill quite a bit. Rollo Tomasi and I think, are the same age. So I keep telling people, like, no, I am well aware. I'm well aware of the content, and it's been out. He's been doing it for years, far before it became popular. So I'm very well aware of the content. But like you said, it is not balanced. And it is men who live in that red pill community all the time. They're actually, it's just like feminists. In my opinion, red pill and feminism is the same thing. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to have a healthy relationship. You're not going to learn how to connect with people. So to me, it's the same thing. And they fight that.
At a fundamental level, if you don't have an appreciation or respect for the opposite gender, like, how do you ever expect to connect with them? So like the red pill, like, I think a lot of them don't respect women and what women can actually do for them. So like in terms of like not anything sexual or anything, just like in terms of life fulfillment and like being an oracle, like, and just the loyalty and the support and the love of a woman is truly unmatched. So I think if you can't have a base appreciation for that, then of course you're never going to find a good woman, because like those good women want to stay away from you.
For sure. That's it. Thank you so much. I appreciate this conversation. I know that my audience appreciates this conversation. If anyone has any questions or comments, I was kind of trying to keep up with the comments. There weren't a whole lot of them. But there was a gentleman's comment that I wanted to speak to where he talked about men having to earn their value and women having to keep their value. I thought that was very interesting. And I actually agree with that. But I know a lot of men, they feel very bitter about that. Like, why do I have to earn my value? And I'm like, hey, there's downfalls to being a woman and there's downfalls to being a man. But yes, I do believe that men kind of they have to become, and because women, our primary value, and women don't like this either, our primary value is youth and beauty. And so that, in essence, if you're a 20-year-old, beautiful, youthful woman, yes, that adds value, especially to men. But for men, their value is something that they're earning. They're working out and they're reading and they are in a passion or a purpose. And so, again, that's not something to be mad about or bitter about. You just need to,
I think
men
think it's like so much easier for women to like either find a partner and then they're just like bitches, or that it's easy to like keep their value. But like a lot of men will lie for sex. A lot of men come off as completely so like protecting your value is just as hard as creating your value as a man. So I think that leads to resentment too, is because they think it's so much, women have it so much easier. Like, oh, I wish I had 50 DMs from women. It's like, of course you do, because you're a man. But if you're a woman, it's like that attention doesn't really mean anything. It's cheap.
It doesn't, and it doesn't. Like I can certainly speak to that. I'd rather have the attention of the man I love and care about than the 30 DMs I'm getting every day. I could care less about that. I prefer to have, like you said, one high quality, high value partner who cherishes me, who I in turn respect. So that, you hit the nail on the head.
Well, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming on. And please, you all, I want you to go over to masculinity, the number 4, and then men at masculinity for men. Please follow. Please click the link in his bio, join the newsletter. The newsletter is a great idea. I have one and I need to start utilizing it because I heard something just today that was talking about, you know, how unstable the different platforms are. And if you only connecting through Instagram and something happens to Instagram, it's like you lose all your people. So I have a newsletter as well. Click the link in my bio. You can join my newsletter there as well. You can also subscribe to the YouTube channel. You can also subscribe to the podcast. So that way we can keep in contact with each other over multiple different platforms. But thank you, Ryan, again for coming on today. And I want everybody to head over and follow. Thank you so much. All right. You all remember, stay open to love.